Hey guys, it's Tina here from Tina Hoy's Art. Thanks for joining me today. Today we're going to be creating a decor piece for Halloween to put in our home. And we're going to be using Stencil Girl stencils. So I'm going to be using two different stencils today. The first one is called Alchemy. So this is the one with all these fun images. I love it. It's number L783 and it's designed by Lori Micah. And the second one is this lovely garden leafy stencil. I love the flowy leaves. The opening here gives us a lot of opportunity to work with it in different projects, so that's a plus for me. Here, this one's called Leafy Garden, and it's designed by Ray Missigman, and it's part of the vintage garden set on Stencil Girl. So there's a lot of vintage floral with that set. Now, in addition to those lovely stencils, we're going to need some tissue paper, and I'll link the kind that I'm using here below. And we're going to need some hoops, embroidery hoops, and these are just vintage hoops that I thrifted from the local thrift shop. We're going to need a glue gun and some Jenga blocks, or any kind of block that you'll need. Also a nice loved brush and some Mod Podge. So here, what I'm going to focus on is, oh, I forgot to tell you guys, we need a mat, like a craft mat, like one of these mats, or some palette paper, or wax paper, if you have that at home, if that's, you know, handy. The reason is because we're going to spray the bottom of this, and we don't want the paper to stick onto it, right? So it's going to give us a cool effect. So we need our craft. Look at this. Hey friends, it's Tina here from Tina Hoy's Art. Thanks for joining me today. Today we're going to create a little home decor project using upcycled, thrifted items. If you want, I'm going to give you two options and some stencils from Stencil Girl. And it's quick, it's easy, and it's going to look great. So I'm so excited to share this with you today. Remember to like, subscribe, and visit me often. I try to post at least once a month. So let's get on to it. Okay, the things that we're going to need. We're going to need a craft mat or something non-porous like wax paper. You can use palette paper underneath. We're going to need a spray bottle with water, tissue paper. Okay, I opted to use a pattern paper from a thrifted pattern. I think it's going to give it great, you know, detail. It's going to enhance the detail of the stencil and the theme that we're going for. So, or you can use tissue paper, like plain old tissue paper. And then I love the two stencils that I'm going to be working with. This first one with all the images on it is called Alchemy, and it's designed by Lori Micah. It's number 783 in Stencil Girl Products website. And the next one is this lovely leafy garden stencil, which I adore. It has beautiful leaves around it. It's almost framing like, because it does give you that negative space here, and you can use that in multiple ways. So I love that one. That's number 1 LL1009, and that's designed by Ray Missigman, and I'll list these on the, you know, below in the notes. We also going to need some Mod Podge and a brush. We're going to be using some wooden hoops. You can get those at the local craft store or, you know, vintage thrifty store. And we're also going to be using some Jenga blocks. So that's, and then we're going to need a hot glue gun. So let's not forget that. Okay, so that's what we're going to have to use here. So the first thing we're going to do, if you are going to paint, you know, sorry for a minute, if you are going to paint the wooden hoops, then I would recommend you paint them first and let them dry. So while we're working on this, this has time to dry. Okay, I'm going to leave mine natural just as they are. And yeah, we'll start. So the first thing we're going to do here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray our base paper. In this case, it's the craft mat, but it could be, again, like I said, wax paper, palette paper. And what this is going to do is going to adhere our tissue paper to it, but it will not stick to it. Okay, so when it dries, we can just peel it right off. So I'm going to use these parts here, press it gently into our surface. We're going to start with our brush and Mod Podge. I just have it in a little jar that's easier to handle. And simply, gently cover the entire tissue with some Mod Podge. Okay, spread it thin. And depending on the brush you have, just use light strokes. If it does end up tearing, you know, that's okay. It's spooky. So we can have a few tears. No one will know the difference. So there you go. So once that's done, excuse me, we'll let that dry, and I will come back to it and peel it off for you so we can see what we're working with. Okay, so I'll continue that and let it dry, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, friends, I'm back and everything is dry. So this is the one that we were working on earlier. And this is the plain tissue paper. And it's just, so I'm going to create on both of them just so we can see the difference. All right, I'm going to start with this one first. I'm going to take my ring and a pencil for marking. And I would like to put it right here. Actually, maybe this way would be cool. So what I'm going to do is just mark some edges of where that will be. That's not a very good pencil. Let's try it again. So that's where I want my, I'm going to grab the stencil. So there he is. And now I'm going to go around it with the leaf stencil here. And again, we have our markings. I think this way is best. Okay, I'm going to try to avoid the spaces and just focus on accentuating the leaves. Okay, now I did get some onto my paper, so I'm just, you can use a Q-tip or just a baby wipe, and we'll wipe that right off. Okay, so nothing's going to stick to this because we've already sealed it with the Mod Podge. And there we go. We're going to lift it. I'm going to repeat the process with the other two rings that I have. Lift. Voila. You know, with this one, I'm going to use just the edges here, just to bring some more interest. That's going to go around where I think my circle's going to be, and just use those little lines to draw the eye towards the eye. And there we go. So that's, so I have my hoop. I'm going to place one on the bottom, our image on top, make it nice and loose. Sandpaper the back. You can cut it, right? You can use a cutting knife. Maybe scissors. I'm just waiting for the glue gun to heat up. In the meantime, we can create one with the tissue paper. So again, we're going to mark our circle. Grab our focal. Perfect. Okay, I think my glue gun is ready. So now I have a Jenga block right here. I'm going to adhere some glue to it and just hold on to this for a bit. Okay, and then we'll let it. I also have a bit of moss that I can put around to hide any of the glue. You can cover the holes. Oh, oh dear. You can put little spiders on here. Okay, so that's what it looks like. But we'll make it stand. There we go. So this is what it's going to look like. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to continue with the other two, and I'll take a beautiful picture and show you when it's done. Thanks for joining me. Remember to like and subscribe. Check out the written details on the Stencil Girl blog. So it's stencilgirltalk.com, and I'll have all the written instructions there as well. See you next time.